welcome to my channel and welcome back to my subscribers. I hope you had a great holiday season. So today what we're going to be making is this multi-pocket flip flap junk journal insert, or it can be a standalone project. So let's take you on a tour. So this is the front cover. The back is plain. You can certainly put something on it if you like, but I chose to keep mine plain. We have a belly band closure. And then right from the start, here's a pocket, a deep pocket right at the top with a journaling card. And then we flip this up and we have two pockets up here. You can load them up with all kinds of ephemera. And we have two pockets down here that you can also load up with all kinds of ephemera. This flips down and then we turn this over this way. I always like to give you a little journaling pad, and that's right here. Then this flips over, and as you can see, it is also holding some journaling cards. And then over here is another pocket, and it has a journaling card, and you can do some journaling on the back. This is a really simple project, and let's get started making it. So to begin, we need to work on the base. And this is the 65-pound craft cardstock. So let me give you some measurements. This is 8 inches by 5.5, and I have folded. And as you can see, as always, or many times anyway, I've already done some pre-work by distressing the cards. So this next one, this is 11 inches by 4 inches, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to fold that in half. Okay, so this is what we're going to glue together. We are going to glue this top flap to the side folding flap, but we're not going to glue it all the way. We are just going to glue 1, 2, 3 sides, okay? And I am using the Barely Art glue for this. Okay, so now we have our flip, one flip there, and then we have a deep pocket now right here. I don't want to fool with that too much because I want that to set, okay? While I'm waiting for that to set up, I'm going to work now on the inside of the flap, okay? So this is what things look like so far, okay? So I'm going to work on this piece here, and I'm going to work on this lower piece here. And let me give you some new card measurements for that. So I have a piece here that is 3 inches by 5 1/4, and I have a second one that is 2 inches by 5 1/4. Uh-oh. And I've already done some distressing around it, and in case you want to know what I'm using, I am using the walnut stain distressing. And if you've seen any of my videos in the past, I like to do things in such a way where you get a little bit of a frame, right? So I would be gluing this down on 3 sides, and I would be doing this the same way, gluing this down on 3 sides. And I'm gonna glue that here, like so. And you see I kind of have this equidistant frame around based on the way that I did the measurements. So let me get this glued down and then I'll come right back. Okay, so we have these pockets done. I'm going to let that dry, and now I'm going to move on to the lower pockets down here. So let me give you some measurements. And with these pockets, I decided not to notch them out, but you certainly can notch them out if you like. So the first one, just make sure that I am putting them in the right direction this way so that I get that nice border around based on the measurements that I did. Okay, so this one is going to be 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. This one is going to be 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. Okay, and we want these to be pockets, so we're not going to glue down all of the sides. We're going to glue down 3 sides. Place that here, and then we're going to get a pocket and another pocket. So let me get this glued down, and then I will be right back. Okay, so now I have 4 pockets here, and I have that deep pocket in the front. So I'm going to just put in a few cards along the way. I'll just build it out as we're going along. And you can do some journaling on the back of these. This goes this way. So you can definitely load these pockets up with a little bit more ephemera if you like. Because remember, this is a loaded pocket, multi-pocket project. Okay, so I think our front pocket should be nice and dry now. So I can add something in there. I can add a tall journaling card in there. I think that'll be nice, put in there. Okay, so we have our pocket, flip up, and now we're going to fold it over this way. And we're going to do some work on the inside here. What we need to do now is we need to make a little flap or a little flippy, you know, something that's movable, interactive. So I have a card here to work as backing. And again, I always like to give you that little border. So let me give you the measurements. So this one is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this one, I'm going to glue it all the way down. You certainly don't have to. If you glue it on 3 sides, you can make another pocket, but I'm going to glue this all the way down. And I'm looking for that nice little border edge. It makes it look like it's framed. And that's good enough. Okay. So that is our background paper. And now we are going to do a little flip out with a pocket, with a double pocket actually. So we'll have a pocket here, And then this will flip out, and then this will be a pocket right in here, okay? So let me give you the measurements for this. Okay, so this is 10.5 this way by 3.5 this way. And I scored at 3 3/4, and I scored again at 7.5. And then I flipped it this way and I scored in the same places. 3 3/4, 7.5, so that it would make things bend a little bit easier. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. We know that we want this to be a top pocket, right? So that means I have to glue down at least 2 sides. So I'm going to glue this side and this side, right? And I'm going to leave this shorter edge right here, okay? So I'm folding this out. Okay. And then now we have our little flippy pocket, right? The opening's here facing this way, right? Pointing that way. Okay, so now I need to, depending on how I want my pocket, I want my pocket to go this way, right? So that means I'm going to glue down here, here, and here, all right? So now I have a pocket here, and I'm going to put something in here. So I have some more journaling cards. You can journal on the back. And I'm going to get these right in here. Okay. And then we'll flip this over. And we'll stick this right in there. Okay, and I kind of don't like seeing the blank side, so I'm just gonna do that. It's a little more color on that side. So if you give this to someone and they flip it open, it's not the plain white, right? Something that's matching there. Okay, so along the way, you can certainly add your labels if you like. So I'm not going to do too many labels. It's just a demonstration. Whoops. And you can certainly, with this empty space, if you have pictures, you can certainly put pictures in these areas to add a little bit more flavor to your project. And I always like to give you a notepad. So let me give you the measurements for the notepad and for this little top piece here. So as you can see, this is not a difficult project, very simple. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this little top piece, this is 3 3/4 by 1 inch. All right, that is 1 inch, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, and you've seen me do this before. I get my pages together and I'm just going to glue them at the top. So I'm going to paper clip this here, and then I'm just going to start at the back page, and I'm just going to run a little bead of glue across. Same thing with the next page. Little bead of glue across. And the same thing with the last page. So I usually give you a 4-paper notepad, okay? And then we're going to just glue this right here at the top. And you can certainly add a label. You can add a label here, you can add a label here, wherever you like. And what we're going to do, we're just going to glue this down. And again, I did the measurements in such a way so that you have a border going around the edge. Okay. So you can either glue the whole thing down or just this top portion here, whatever you like. Okay, and you can certainly put a card. Uh-oh, I dropped my little distressing brush. You can certainly put a card on the back, and I'm not going to, but you can, and let me give you measurements if you like. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and it'll fit, you know, again, where you have that little border. Okay, I'm not going to do one on the back because it's just a demonstration for you. So this is going to be here. All right, I've already given you the measurements for that. Then I'm working now on the cover of our little project, right? So that part that flips up. So that's one piece of the cover. Then I have a second piece, and let me give you the measurements for that. And I've already used the corner rounder for this, and I used this one for the rounding the edges. But this is 3 1/2 by 5 inches. Okay. So what I want to do first is I want to get this glued onto here. And again, I have done the dimensions so that you have a little frame. Okay, I think that is good enough. Okay, so now we need to work on a little closure. So I have a little whale tail, you know, you fold it over and it looks like this. You have the tab, the whale tail tab. I have a little text written label, and then I have a strip here, and let me give you the measurements for it. This is, how much do I have here? This is, it's a little hair short of 10 1/2, and that's fine, by 1 5/8. So I think if you did 1 1/2, you'd still be okay, and I think if you did 10 1/2, you'd still be okay. But what I have here is essentially 10 3/8 by 1 5/8, if you want the exact measurements. Okay. And here's what we have. We have our little notepad. We have our little flip out with a pocket here and a pocket here. And then we have our little flipper where we can put plenty of journaling cards And now we want to finish it off. And remember, we have our deep pocket right in here. Okay, so I chose to do a belly band this time instead of a ribbon. So I'm just bending this back. And I'm gonna crease that along here. I'm gonna try to get it as straight as possible. And just going to place my finger there, add a little bit of glue on the top here along the edge, and I'll work my way down. But I want to make sure I get the edges so that I get a good seal. Okay. And I want to make sure I get any spillage because I want to be able to slide this up and down. So let me just move a little card underneath it so that nothing gets glued together. I think we'll be okay. Okay, I'm going to turn this over now. And I have, again, this little whale tail tab and a little saying here, prayer is a weapon. And you certainly can use this project as a prayer pocket gift for yourself or a prayer pocket gift for someone else. It's a nice way to start the new year. And then as the year progresses, you can come back to different things that you've written down and see how the Lord has answered those prayers and jot those things down. Okay, so I'm putting that here, and I see that I did not distress this, so give me 1 second. Let me get that distressed on the outside very quickly. Okay, and I'm going to just glue that right here to cap this off. Okay. All right. And that, my friends, is our project for today. And I really hope that you enjoyed spending your precious, very precious time with me today. All right, everyone, take care and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, everyone, if you like this video, please share, please hit the like button, and please subscribe. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.